Okay, so if you have no block, a water bottle is good. If you have 2 blocks, one at the front, one at the back. If you only have one, what we'll do is we'll just kind of relocate it. It's not the end of the world. It's good for our brains to do that. We're going to start in a child's pose, so go for it. If there's any injuries or anything going on throughout the practice, you could speak up. Yeah. And if something doesn't work for you, it's definitely a sign to not do it. That's generally how this stuff works. So you're so sore. Well, this is perfect. You'll break down the lactic acid. That's great. So there's a couple different ways you can take child's, and you can experiment with your body, which is so cool. Your knees can be super wide with your big toes together. Sometimes you like it with your knees together and it's a little tighter and your stomach resting on your thighs. Your arms can always have the option to be forward or be back. Yeah. The information that your body gives you is so interesting and so useful. So something doesn't feel right, you just don't do it. And at any point during the practice, you need to just kind of come back here. This is a good spot to be. Ujjayi breath is where we're going. Inhale through your nose to the back of your throat. Exhale through your nose to the back of your throat. And I'll be honest with you, I've been practicing for over 20 years. The Ujjayi breath, it's almost impossible to keep it the entire time. Right. So, you know, it kind of comes and it goes. As long as you're breathing and you're alive, that's all that matters. Press up onto all fours into a tabletop position. When you set up for tabletop, the hands generally have to come in a little bit closer, so they're not as wide as they would be in a down dog. Curl the toes into the mat. That's how I like to do it. And then extend your right leg straight back like a half plank. Curl the right toes into the mat. Fire up the right thigh and definitely work on keeping your neck nice and long. And if you're wondering how to do that, just find a dristi to the front edge of the mat. Begin to plug down. Feel your thumb, your index finger, your baby finger, and just hold for a second. Float your right leg up, only hip height. Keep flexing the foot, draw the navel in. There's a coiling of your ribs, your dristi, your focus is on one spot. Slide your left arm forward. It seems easier than it actually is. Yes. So your left arm's reaching forward like we're shaking hands. The palm, have it face Jessica. Yep, there you go, Natalie. Turn the palm, Sarah, towards, yep. Connect to your breath. Pick one spot to focus on at the front edge of your mat and just feel your body as it grows a little bit longer in space. So your left arm's gonna slide to the outside of your left rib cage and your right knee's gonna come up towards your right tricep like this. Do it slow. It's kind of like a dog at a fire hydrant. It may not make it all the way there. Reach and stretch in opposite directions. Yeah, do this slow. So this is just joint and body awareness. Hug the knee, elbow towards the knee, come to center. So draw to center, Natalie, in. Yep, and then reach and stretch in opposite directions. Yep, so the leg goes out and the arm goes out. So try this again. Left elbow, left rib, right knee, right tricep. You got it. Arm and leg stretch in opposite directions. Maybe you'll get sprayed by the pool cleaner. Hug the knee in, elbow to knee to the center. Reach and stretch in opposite directions. Good. Reach your left arm back, bend at your knee crease, grab your ankle. If this does not work for you this morning, if getting hold of your foot does not work, just float it in space. So your arm will reach back and your leg, it's almost like you're kicking your butt. The firing of your right thigh, you want to kick up. Draw the belly in and keep your neck neutral, look down. I'm already starting to sweat, breathe. Reach and stretch in opposite directions. Hand and knee comes down, curl the toes. So just back in that tabletop. Extend your left leg straight back, curl the toes into the mat, fire up the left thigh, just pause. So this is a neutral pelvis. Float the left leg up so it's hip height, pause. Plug the thumb, the index finger, the baby finger down. Feel the wrapping of your rib cage in. Slide your right arm forward, pause. Reach and stretch in opposite directions. Just connect to the feeling of being still, to connect to the feeling of your breath, just moving through your body. So we'll do this slow, we'll do it together. The right elbow is gonna slide to the outside of the right rib. Do that first. Right elbow, right rib. Left knee, left tricep in the general direction. It may only be a small movement. Reach and stretch in opposite directions. Good. So now your right elbow and your left knee comes to the center. Yep, so you kind of round and hug in. Reach and stretch in opposite directions. Okay, we're gonna try this again. Right elbow, right rib, do that first. Left knee, left rib, left tricep. You got it. Reach and stretch in opposite directions. One more. Hug into the center, elbow to knee, round in. Reach and stretch in opposite directions, create space. Right arm back, left leg bends. See if you can get hold of your foot as you kick up and back. Perfect. So if it doesn't happen naturally, you just create the shape. Keep your gaze down. Perfect. Never force your body into a position, especially in the yoga practice. Sometimes it's just not meant to be. Reach and stretch your arm in opposite direction, your leg in opposite direction. Hand and knee to the floor. Walk your hands an inch forward and take them out slightly wider. Curl the toes into the mat and come to a dog. First down dog. You got it. Move your shoulders away from you. Yeah. Bend behind your knees as much as you may need to. You want to get your hips high up off your shoulders. That looks great. Your thumb, your index finger, your baby finger pressing down into the ground. Your head hanging nice and free and neutral. And doing whatever movements you need to make this feel great. Spread your toes wide. That's going to access the front of your shins. Draw your belly in and up. And then you find stillness, which is hard for the majority of us. Let's face it. Let the head just drop. Let it go. Yeah. Roll forward to plank. So plank position, from dog to plank, sometimes you have to walk it out. That's exactly it. You get to plank, you want to be on your tops of your toes, like all the way forward. Yeah. And then you want to breathe your chest forward. So you almost want to lead with your chest and your heart without jutting your head or your neck forward. The modifications to drop your knees and you support. I always say create support for your body if you need it. So the knees can just come down if it's too much. Lengthen your tailbone. Bring more weight forward onto your tippy toes and extend through the crown of your head. Broaden across the upper shoulder blades and feel your outer triceps, that's the outside of your arms, begin to grip in. Connect to your breath. So if you're struggling here, just breathe. Lengthen your tailbone. Bring more weight forward. Keep your arms straight, hips up and back, down dog. So you've found your sweet spot. May not feel so sweet, but it's your spot. Roll forward to plank. Plank position, all the way forward. Yeah, so this is the alignment that you need for correct push-ups. Lower halfway or support with your knees down to a push-up. A chaturanga can just be a small movement. Re-straighten your arms to a plank. Hips up and back, downward facing. Roll forward to plank. Drop your knees, everybody. So your knees drop and they're slightly behind you on an angle. This is a good place to be if you're just kind of pausing and building strength. If you want to add on, you can do a micro bend or halfway at most. That's it. Re-straighten your arms. So it can just be holding yourself up here. This is great. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Know what the modifications are for your body. Some days you just don't want to work as hard. Some days you can't work as hard. Roll forward plank. Drop your knees if you need support. If not, lower halfway to a chaturanga. Erica, more weight forward towards me. There you go. Now lead with your chest for your first up dog. Activate through the front side of your body as you press to your hands and the tops of your feet. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Settle the body, the mind, the breath, and just get calm. Look to the top of the mat. 2 big steps to get there this morning. Long spine. Sometimes it's like 12 steps to get there. Long spine, weight is forward. Your hands can also come to the front of your shins. Exhale, fold into yourself. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer heart. Did you go up into the thing? Oh my gosh. Yeah, drop your arms by your side body. Stand tall. You have to do like little people yoga. Yeah. Arms reach up, half up maybe. Dive over, bent knees, forward fold. Mom, you can move behind Steph if you want. When you come to a long spine, look forward, plant your palms, 2 big steps to get you back to a plank. Ideally, it sounded great. Yeah. Halfway to a chaturanga. Pull yourself through your up dog, activate. Hips up and back, downward facing all. You could probably move a little this way. Oh, you don't need it. Here we go. Look to the top of the mat. 2 big steps to get there. If you're eager, you can hop, but it's up to you. Long spine, weight is forward. Exhale, fold into yourself. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag your hands to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. So be still for a second. Sweep the arms up, look up. Dive again over bent knees, forward fold. Long spine to prepare. Step, step to plank. So just step, step, plank. You got it. Halfway to a chaturanga. Do it slow. Up dog slides you through. Legs are strong. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Look where you want to go. Step, step, or float to the top. Long spine to prepare you. Weight is forward. Exhale to fold you. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Arms reach up, look up. Dive again in half over bent knees, forward fold. Long spine sets you up. Step, step to plank, or hop to a chaturanga if that's what you're doing. Upward facing drags you through. Yep. Hips up and back, downward facing. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top. Long spine, weight is forward. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Go big. Drag your hands to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. We go again. Arms. You guys look really excited. Arms reach up. My gosh. We're alive. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Long spine to prepare. I would just anchor and step to a dog and hold. That's it. I would just take 2 big steps back. Move through your vinyasa, guys. And then I would just hold yourself up in dog and skip all the other shit. Yeah. Don't make it so complicated, guys. Yes, little movements, long spine. Steph's already ready to go. Look where you want to go, step or float to the top. Long spine, fold. Do you have an extra coffee? Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag your hands to prayer at heart, drop your arms. Here we go, one more because you look enthused. Reach up big, dive over bent knees, forward fold. Long spine, prepare. Step or float through your vinyasa. You can also just step to a dog and hold if that's where you're at. Upward facing is a back bend and a new breath. Downward facing. Bring your feet together at the back of the mat. Make it so you have one leg. Roll forward to plank like this and lean onto your left hand for Vashisthasana side plank. I'll show the modification. You can drop your bottom knee down and reach your right arm up. Yeah, the knee should be directly underneath you. Yeah, to really give you that support. And then you could try tented fingertips too to get out of your shoulder. Dropping your forearm down for a Vashisthasana side plank is great. Have your hand forward, Sarah, though. Completely forward, the bottom hand, so it doesn't turn in. Yeah. Nice, Debbie. Lift the top arm up and bring it up and forward. Lift from your bottom hip. You got it. Plank position. Keep your feet together. Go right to the other side. You got to bring your right hand out just a little bit. You can drop your knee. You can modify with your forearm down. Any version of Vashisthasana side plank that works for you. Yeah, the top arm can just extend straight up towards the sky, or it can wrap up and forward depending on your shoulder opening. Wherever you are in the pose, your bottom hip lifts your top hip and your hip stays squared. You can stagger the feet too. That's a nice way to do it. You got it. Nice work. Look down, plank, pause. Pause and plank if you can. Halfway to a chaturanga, see if you can pause in your chaturanga, even if you need to drop your knees. Drag yourself to an up dog, pause in your up dog, press strong to the tops of your feet, your legs, your hands, so your chest opens, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Slide your right foot forward into a low lunge, come to your fingertips, be here for a sec. Drop your back knee. If you need to pad, you slide a little something underneath it. If not, just make sure your kneecap's not jamming into the mat, so it's on an angle. Good. Bring your arms straight up towards the sky. So what I want you to do is make sure that your right knee and your right ankle track, and then get a little heavier in your hips. You're creating a little bit of a back bend here, essentially. Reach up with your arms, and then look up with your eyes, not with your neck. There's a big difference. Spread your right foot really wide across the mat. Make a connection here, and let your right thigh bone kind of move back into the hip socket. There you go. Hands come down to frame your front foot. Activate your back leg just like this. Pause. Grip your right hip in strong. Reach your arms back like a set of airplane wings. Pause here. All sorts of fun stuff happening here in the backyard yoga. Palms face down, so flip them. And this is the shoulder blades squeezing together. This is the proper alignment that we want. And then you start to lift your torso up and you sweep your arms out and up or straight up. And if you get here and you're like, this feels like crap, drop your back knee. No one gives a crap here. Right. You do what feels good in your body. You need your hip points to move forward. So in order to do that, you have to lift up out of your waist. Keep sitting deep into the front right thigh and anchor through your feet and your legs so you can grow the pose from the ground up. If you stop breathing, come back, breathe, let the cycle of breath happen. Ujjayi breath is recommended. Two more, stay with it. Hands are gonna come down to frame the front foot. So here we are, you're gonna tent the fingertips, like scoop up the floor, and then let your left leg pop up and drape your torso over your front right thigh. My right leg is bent a lot, and I'm almost bending my elbows. Yeah, you can slide blocks. Breathe your back leg up, and then fold. Let your head go. So come to the fingertips, long spine. Keep the lift of the back leg. Turn the back foot on a little angle. Take a giant step back to warrior one like this, but stay low. Don't come up yet. So stay low and walk your right foot a little to the right and make sure that your back foot, Eric, is turned about 70-degree angle and your stance is wide enough. Yeah. Arms reach back like a set of airplane wings again. Left ribs turn, and then you anchor and you rise, warrior one. So the thing with warrior one is you want to make sure that your hips are squared towards the front edge of the mat. So turn your back toes a little bit more forward and you're going to have more success. Yeah. Perfect. Hands come down through a vinyasa or right to a downward facing dog. Decide what you need and be okay with it. Upward facing slides you through. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward. Take a big step. Drop the back knee down on an angle. Pause here. So this is your psoas. We all need this a lot. Yes. Make sure your knee and your ankle are set up. And then come up. I like my toes curled into the mat. I find I can get a little bit more access through the hamstring. And then just breathe your chest open and get a little heavier in the front leg so you feel like you're getting a little back bend. Your hip points are forward, your arms are reaching up, and your gaze towards the sky. So moments that you hold, sometimes you go a little dark. Yes, come back to the light. And the breath. Hands come down to frame the front foot, pause, activate the back leg. Grip your left hip in strong, Scissor the legs together and reach your arms back like a set of wings. So now you're just hovering. Feel the feet, the legs, everything grounding you. And then start to lift up and sweep your arms out and up. High lunge, crescent lunge. Perfect. Hip points forward, arms energize up. You got it. Feel the weight in the standing left heel and the back right leg. You got it. Hands to frame the front foot, pause. I want you to cup the mat like you're moving the mat. Open out your elbows a little, bend into the standing left leg, and slowly start to lift the leg up. Now, as you lift the leg up, you're gonna drop your torso down, but keep a connection with your stomach to your thigh. So there's a deep bend of your left leg. You got it. Blocks under one or both hands can be very helpful to how to bring the floor up to you. Yeah. Don't open the hip. Keep the back leg super engaged. So don't open the hip. Keep the hip squared. Flex the foot. Connect. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Keep the lift of the leg. Just turn the right toes open like an inch or two, and then take a giant step back. Don't come up. Just set up the feet low for warrior one. Grip your left hip in strong. Make sure your right thigh is rotating forward. Bring your arms back again like a set of wings. Grip the hip in strong. So the left hip has to hug. The right side of the body turns. Press through your feet and then come up, warrior one. And then sometimes there's a little bit more wiggle room that you can slide your left foot forward. You want to breathe the right ribs forward and then anchor and lift your waist. These look really good. The alignment looks good. So there's no perfect alignment. That's correct, safe alignment. And everyone's bodies are going to look a little different in the poses. Hands come down to frame your front foot. Step through a vinyasa or right to a dog and just be happy with that. Up dog is opening, so it's not for everybody. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Look to the top of the mat, step or float your feet there. Long spine once you arrive. Exhale, fold. Everybody separate your feet a little bit today, about hips width distance. Yes. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Feel like you're leading with your chest. Keep your fingertips down and then start to lower your seat. So it's going to look like this. Yeah, so your fingertips are tented. Yeah. And then bring your arms up into a chair. So it's a deliberate chair. Weight is in your heels. Now, if having the arms close together feels like it's impinging on the shoulders, you open your arms up wide. Yeah, you can even cactus the arms. But you want to lift your torso and your chest. You can breathe into the chest and the heart and the openness of the lungs. Weight in your heels. There you go. Shoot up to stand up. Drag your hands to prayer. We call this the Porta Potty practice. Yes, this is like if you ever have to go in a Porta Potty, you're going to be good to go. Drop your arms. Yes, arms reach up. Sit again into a chair. Try with your feet separated and feel if you feel a little more space in your low back. Let your butt go all the way back. Then dive over bent legs, forward fold. Let your head go. Come to the fingertips to prepare you. Step or float through your vinyasa. Upward facing dog is smooth. You're not jamming into your low back. Be mindful, downward facing dog. Your right foot steps, your back foot turns for warrior one. Now, if you have an inversion to warrior one or an injury, crescent lunge works great too. Hands come down to frame your front foot. You move through a vinyasa, which is plank to a chaturanga, to an up dog, or right to a dog, and you just hold. The left foot lands, the back foot turns, or you're in a crescent lunge. So listen to what your body needs and craves. Hands come down to frame your front foot, plank position, to a chaturanga, even if it's a baby push-up, upward facing dog, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Take a full breath out. Look where you want to go, step or float to the top. Long spine when you arrive, fold into yourself. Sit into chair, feet together or separated, you pick. It can even just be a little separation. Look forward though, it's gonna help. Shoot up to stand up, drag it to prayer at heart, drop your arms. Arms reach up, sit again deep into a chair. Your weight moves back into your heels. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let the head just be free. Come to the fingertips to prepare you, step or float through your vinyasa. Upward facing dog, the tops of the feet ideally press. Hips up and back, downward facing. The right foot lands, the back foot turns. Secure the back foot and then come up, warrior one. The back leg kind of trumps the posture. Hands come back down at your own beat. Everyone's kind of moving a little different. Chaturanga. Up dog should feel smooth. Hips up and back, down dog. The left foot lands, the back foot turns, warrior one. Back down we go, through a vinyasa or right to a dog, and you just be patient. When you get to your down dog, hold. Look where you want to go. One more. Step or float to the top. Long spine, keep that weight forward. Exhale, fold into yourself. Sit again into a chair, feet together or separated, you pick. Press up to stand, drag your hands to prayer, drop your arms. Here we go, arms reach up, sit again into a chair. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let the head go. Long spine to prepare you, step or float through your vinyasa. Chaturanga feels good, you do it. Up dog, hips up and back, down dog. The right foot lands, the back foot turns, warrior one. You're not moving so fast, you feel like you're like, you're out of it. Good. Back down we go, through a vinyasa. Up dog. Don't forget to breathe. Down dog. Left foot forward, we got a good sweat. Warrior one. Back down we go, through a vinyasa, or be happy with your down dog and hold. Roll forward to plank. This is where the good stuff happens. Hug your right knee to your navel. Straight in if you can. Your arms are straight up and down, and you're taking your shin away from the mat and pointing your toes. Scoop out your belly. Press the floor away a little stronger. Activate your back leg more. Step your right foot all the way forward and through. Turn your back foot on a strong angle. Pivot open towards, most of you are going to go towards the table, warrior two. Everyone's kind of going a different direction. That's okay. Okay, here you go. You want to rotate your right thigh open. Yeah. And turn your thumbs up for a second. Yeah. And breathe your left arm back. Perfect. And then find the dristi, that's the focus, and the hand position that you kind of want. Sit deeper into your right thigh. Activate your back left leg more. Let the side of your body stay lifted. Warrior two, hold. Close your eyes if you can't deal with it. Just feel your body, the strength that you're creating. Keep wrapping your right thigh open and hugging your right hip under you. And the moment where you want to give up, do it a little longer for the person next to you. Reach your right hand out, reach it to the outside of your right foot to a block. Place the block any level that works for you. Arm can also rest on the top of your thigh. Stretch your left arm straight up or wrap it up and forward. Yes, when you wrap your arm up and forward, you're turning from your shoulder blade, so your baby finger will tip to the ground. Yeah, I've been doing this with the block up really high, so play with it. Make a connection with the outside of your right leg and the inside of your right arm. Or if you're resting your elbow on your thigh, soften your right shoulder. The goal is to create some space from your right rib. So you want to turn your right ribs, Natalie, towards Sarah as you get heavier into your front right thigh. And you want to continue to breathe. So there should be a little space between your side body and your thigh. A few more breaths. I know you're super excited to hold this, to give it a little bit more energy. Strong legs, strong breath. Warrior 2, take the bounce out. Vinyasa, take it to the floor. Or just step to a dog. Upward facing pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing. Roll forward to plank, hug your left knee in. So scoop out your belly, activate your arms, and hug your left knee in. Arms are straight up and down. You got it. The modification would be to drop the knee and do this kind of how we started. Look forward, land your left foot smack in between your hands, turn your back foot on a strong angle. Warrior 2. So just to give you an idea of placement of your feet, your left foot is forward in this pose, your right toes are on a little angle, and your heel to arch. You want to wrap your thigh open, drop your tailbone down, and breathe your chest evenly across your body so you're not favoring one side. We generally do. And then pick your position that you know you can just kind of hold. Maybe close your eyes and just breathe. How can you find the posture and try and relax in the pose? It is possible. Get out of your head and just get into the feeling of the posture. A few more breaths. I know when you love when I say that. Just breathe, connect. Move your eyes a little forward. Reach out with your left hand, set it up from the ground, use a block. You can go high with the block. Extended side angle, this is A. So B, what we're not doing today, is generally where you add the bind. That's how I remember. We're not gonna bind today. Good, so get heavy in your front leg, guys, even if your arm is resting on the top of your thigh. So what you can do, Sarah, is grab the front of your shin and pull up on it. There you go. Now create that angle with your front leg and get heavier. There you go. Nice work. Just have the arm straight up, Rach. Just have it straight up. Yeah, or hand can also just be on your hip, which is going to be a good spot. Grip the left hip underneath you, strong. Turn your bottom ribs. Few more, stay with it. See if you can look up with your eyes. It makes a little bit of a difference. Your energy changes. Keep bending into the front thigh. 3 more breaths. If you have a block, grab your block for me. Just put it into your hand while you're still in the pose with your left hand. Yep. Pull up warrior 2, holding your block. There you go. Warrior 2. Straighten your left leg. Pivot your toes in. Move the block to your right hand. Pivot your right toes out and turn your back foot on an angle. So your legs are nice and straight, and your hips are the same exact way that they just were. We're setting up for triangle. So you've got your block. If you don't have a block, that's okay. Turn your left toes, Erica, in a little towards the pool. There you go. Keep going. A little bit more. Perfect. Reach out, slide the block to the outside of the right hand, regular triangle. Yeah. Hand to also your shin if you don't have a block. Yeah. So triangle pose, Trikonasana, is a very personal pose. Some of us like it like kind of long. Some of us need it a little tighter depending on your body. So play with that. If your hand is on a block, that's great. Make sure all the weight isn't dropping into the block in the shoulder. If your hand is on your shin, pull up on your shin like you're moving the pant leggings and start to use your obliques. Now, if having your left arm feels good, up, then keep it. If not, your hand can slide to your hip, or it can wrap around into a little bind, a half bind. Keep turning your bottom ribs and looking over your left shoulder though. There's a little softness behind your right knee and your left leg is super strong. Good, keep the half bind, look down, and I know it's tight here, but move your block out in front of you and let's just try a little balance with Artamatsundrasana. The block goes off to the right enough that you can find your balance. If your head kind of becomes part of the bush, that will be today's distraction. Continue to turn your bottom rib step towards the table. And if having your arm bound in half doesn't feel great, your hand can slide to your hip or extend straight up towards the sky. And then the goal is to try and look up as you flex your left leg and foot strong. Yeah, lift a little higher. And it's a balancing pose. Anticipate falling out. That's okay. If you took a bind, extend the arm up. Look towards the right foot and very carefully, giant step back, triangle pose. If you use the block, you just bring it with you. Yeah. Triangle. Take a second. Triangle pose. It's all obliques and hamstring. Grip the right hip underneath you. Firm up the feet and the legs. If you have a block, hold on to it with your right hand. Lead with your left arm. Pull yourself up. Arms are straight, long legs are straight. Pivot the right toes in. Move the block to your left hand. Turn the left toes out. So you're going to set up for triangle facing the other direction. If you don't have a block, you just make do. Reach out with your left hand. Place the block to the outside or your hand to your shin. The hips aren't closed. They're still open. Yeah. So the right toes can turn a little. And then we're going to be in perfect spot. Awesome. There's a lift of your side ribs and a scooping up of your left hip. And the side body's long. If you want to add in a half bind, the top arm can wrap around or your hand just come to your hip. Where none of that works and just stay in the regular version. So think about rotating your ribs. Yeah. Stay with it, a few more. Do you want the movement is this. The ribs rotate. Yep, there you go. Move the block back a little right here. It's a good spot for you. So keep the bind, keep the hand to the hip or the arm up, however you want. You're gonna look down, focus on the left foot staying forward, hugging the hip in, and see if you can come up with control half moon. Yeah, and you're outside, things aren't even, there's shrubbery, there's people. You believe that? There's people? Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole new obstacle, the people. You just do the best that you can. Focus on the left hip, really gripping it in, and then breathe the right leg up, just so it's hip height, flex the toes, turn the bottom ribs towards Amy, then look up. And you could fall out 100 times. If you have a bind, just unravel the arm up. So the transition is its own pose. Left leg strong, left foot forward. See if you can take a giant step back, back to triangle, back to triangle. So revisit your triangle and see if you could recreate it. Side body long, back leg strong. Look to the floor. Circle the hands to frame your front foot. Step your right foot to meet it. Long spine, weight is forward, fold in half. Sit into chair, weight moves into your heels. Decide if you want your feet a little separated. Yeah. Slide your hands to prayer at heart. This is where we pray for ourselves. Inhale the breath, hook the elbow, twist to the right. So twist to the right, guys. Everyone goes towards the right. Yeah. Yes, so the biggest part here is to make sure the two knees stay lined up. So I've been actually like air twisting in this pose and just really working on the legs staying aligned and the torso staying aligned. Just do what you can. If you want to open up your arms, you can. If not, stay right here. The weight stays in your heels and your shins move back. Stay strong in your legs. Pull around to chair. Everyone looks really thrilled. Press to stand. I'll be nice. Drag your hands to prayer. Drop your arms. Take a second. Get out of your space. You're going to do the other side, okay? Arms reach up from the top. Sit deep chair. Slide your hands to prayer. Keep it really even with your knees. Inhale your breath. Start to turn to the left. So I'm okay with you staying kind of in an upward position where you're not hooking. If it's okay in your body, you get in there. Weight stays in your heels. Open up your arms if you did on the other side. Perfect. That looks great. Weight in the heels. Get in there. Watch that right knee. Keep sitting. I know it's a bummer, this one. Chair. Keep the arms up, press to stand. Draw the right leg up, grab the right kneecap, just like this. Left arm stays up. Flex the right foot. If you have the range of motion, grab the big toe. This is not for everyone. I really haven't been doing this myself. You can extend the leg forward if this is for you. If not, I've been staying here. Just stay here with the knee bent. Rather than feeling like you're tugging your leg to you, find the distance that's even from your hip to your knee. Soften the shoulder down the back. Lengthen your tailbone and drive the left side of the body up towards the sky. Beautiful, Debbie. Keep the lift of the leg and you're going to switch the grip. I do this with a bent knee, but you can do it with a straight leg. It's called dancing Shiva. The right arm extends back. The goal is to try and look back if you're able to. Flex the right foot more, Erica, if you can. And breathe your chest open like you did in Warrior 2. There's a lot of similarities here. Pull around to center, keep the arms up and the leg up. You can keep the leg bent like this, or you can straighten it out. It's up to you. If you did a boot camp yesterday, maybe not. Cross the right ankle, make the number 4, and then sit. Bring your hands, you have to kind of move your foot up a little. Bring your hands back into your hip creases and really sit. I like doing it this way. I wrap the backs of my triceps to the front of my shin and I get in there. This is a great spot for a block. Yeah. You got to keep steering your right hip back and gripping your right hip in strong. Yes. Keep bending into the standing left leg and the hips move back. Weight in your heel. If you like flying in the pose, you're welcome to do it. Your elbows will bend. You'll flex your right foot around your right tricep, and then maybe you'll extend your right leg back. Beautiful, Debbie. So together, hands to your hips, press to stand, lower your right foot down, just stand. Separate your feet to their hips with distance for me. Yes. Draw your left leg up, grab below the kneecap, extend your right arm up. Just do this much. This is great. Don't feel like you're pulling your leg to you. Your leg finds that position from your hip to your knee. That's natural. Flex the foot. If you're hooking the big toe and extending the leg forward, that's wonderful and great. Just make sure you don't go into your low back. Standing right leg is the power. The left leg can have as much bend behind it as you need. Draw the right shoulder back. Keep your focus, keep the lift of the leg, switch the grip. With the leg bent is fine, the leg straight, that's awesome. Grab the outside of the foot and breathe your left arm back. Nice, Sarah. Stand up tall. Keep the lift of the leg, pull around to center, arms up, leg up. If you want to straighten the leg, that's great. If not, keep it on the bed. Keep reaching your arms up, cross your left ankle over your right thigh, just like this. Then start to sit. I like to slide my thumbs into my hip creases to move the weight back. Bend deep into the standing right leg like you're sitting into a strong chair. Then take the backs of your triceps and kind of hook them to the front of your shin. The hands can be in prayer or they can rest down on something, a block, a water bottle. Yeah, Perfect. This is a strong hip opener. Really nice. The weight is in your standing heel. Flex the foot. Breathe. If you're going to fly on this side, be consistent. So before you go down, really create the number 4 and then start to lower. And that you kind of have to keep scooting that left hip up back because it has the nature to want to slide forward. If you're flying, you can come out when you're ready. So the goal in this pose is to come out evenly. At the same time, your hands to your hips. Good luck. Press up to stand, lower the left foot down. Split your feet apart. Here we go. Slide your left leg back. All that's got to come together. About 3 feet. Walk your right foot to the right. Slide the left arm up. So reach big through the back leg and the left arm. Come forward halfway. Manually move your right hip back. And then the left hand's going to come down to the floor or to a block, or your hand can rest on your shin. I really like doing it this way. Press the hand firm into the shin and then lengthen your seat back, twist your torso, look to the right. Your right arm can extend up only if that feels good, or it can be on the flat part of your back. So try that, Rachel. Take your right hand and just keep it there. That's it. Yeah, you could decide if you like the block. If you like the block, and the block, I normally have it high. I'm like, I'll take as much help as I can freaking get in this practice. Yes. Okay, Erica, you're doing great. Lean back towards the house a little bit as you press your hand into your shin. Pose never gets old. Look to the floor, place both hands down. Cup the fingertips one more time. Lift the left leg, breathe the left leg up a little higher this time. Let the head go heavy and the shoulders soften. You know what I like? Extend your right leg out far, like really far forward. Right hand goes all the way out. The left hand stays underneath the shoulder. Yep. Bring the right hand back underneath the right shoulder. Take a giant step back into a lunge, low lunge. Yeah. Come on up, crescent lunge. Stay with me, guys. You were here before. Hands to prayer. Inhale the breath. Lean forward like you're taking warrior 3, but this time you get to hook and get in there. If you get here and it feels like it feels unstable, twist towards the pool, Erica. There you go. Back leg strong and lift it up off the mat. The heels lifted up off the mat. Lean back, Sarah, towards Amy. And then open up your arms if you want more. I don't know why you'd want more. More is not better. Yeah. Yes. Grip your right hip in. Get the crown of the head just to line up with the back heel and take 2 more deep breaths. Look down, plank position. Thank gosh, chaturanga. Upward facing if it feels good for you. Hips up and back, downward facing. All right, step your left foot forward in downward facing. Scoot your back foot in about 3 feet and then bring your hands to your hips and pull yourself up. So we're just gonna do it on the other side from this angle. Yeah, so set up your feet here, left hand on hip, right arm extends up. Anchor the back leg, it's pretty much flat to the mat. The hips are forward. Breathe that right arm up, come halfway down. Before you go any further, like literally pull your hip back and then your hand can come to your shin. I like a block. Here, then I take my left hand and slide it to the flat part of the back. And that's where I get the information like, okay, I'm aligned today. I want to be aligned in the posture. Keep breathing your hips back, your spine forward. Looks great, Elise. Really nice job. Contract the muscles around your back quadricep. And then twist open more. Hug your hips in. Look down, place both hands, cup the fingertips like we did early in the practice. Float your right leg up. You may find that you get it a little bit higher than hip height now. Let the shoulders soften. And what I like to play with is keeping my right hand cupped down to the ground of the block and then sliding my left arm way forward. And then see if you can get your right leg up a little higher when you do it. So you're like splitting the positioning of your hands. Yeah, good, Sarah, I like that. Walk the hand back underneath the shoulder, square the hips off if they opened at all. Take a giant step back into a low lunge. Take a second to settle your feet and arrange yourself. Then come up last time today, crescent lunge. Drag the hands to a prayer. Lean forward enough that you can hook your elbow and twist, and be okay with dropping your back knee if that suits your practice. So you got to get in there. You got to kind of lean back into it a little bit. Activate your back leg more and twist open. So continue to grip that left hip in. Look down, plank position. When you get to plank, lower halfway down to a chaturanga. Drag yourself one more time through an up dog, press to the tops of the feet. Hips up and back, downward facing. Land your right knee forward for a half pigeon. Back leg strong. If anyone has any knee stuff with this, let me know because I can give you an altered pose. Yeah. Yeah. So we want our hips to be closed off to the ground here. So if you're rolling all your weight to your right side, see if you can just transfer a little bit more weight. And then if it's available for you to drop your head down, either onto forearms or onto a block. Come up nice and slow, lean onto your right side, swing your left leg forward. So it's like separate leg stretching, but we're not gonna take separate leg stretching. The right hand comes behind you. The crease of your wrist faces towards the back edge of your mat. Inhale the breath, it's called sail pose. Left arm extends up and back. Ideally, your left foot is flat down. Doesn't always happen for all of us. And the left arm can stretch up and back. It may only go straight up towards the sky. So be kind to yourself in the pose. Don't jam into your joints. Good, lower yourself down. Bring your right knee forward and cross your left foot over it for Artamatsundrasana, seated spine twist. If this leg can't be bent, Amy's demonstrating it with the leg forward and straight. That's totally fine. Now, give your left leg, excuse me, a little hug and take your left hand behind you at the base of your spine. Yeah, so this is great for the piriformis. Inhale your breath, lengthen up. Exhale, look over your shoulder, rinse and twist. It's all right, you'll do the other side. I think you'll make up for it. Come to center, unravel yourself, take your feet flat down to the ground. Couple options here. You can hook your big toes, you can grab the sides of your feet, you can grab behind your thighs for a boat Navasana, okay? So depending on your range of motion, it's an ab exercise. Sarah's like, I've done. Grab the big toes, grab the sides of your feet, bless you, lift the chest. Some version of a boat Navasana, you can half-ass it. And then if you want to let go, optional, arms can reach forward, the legs can bend. Lift from your chest and your collarbone. Cross your ankles, step or float last time today through a vinyasa or right to a dog. When you get to your downward facing dog, don't leave any time for yourself to check out. Slide your left knee forward for half pigeon and just go for it. Half pigeon left side. If you think you messed it up, do the side you didn't stretch yet. And then fold. Use the strength of your body. Start to come up, lean onto the left side, swing the right leg forward. So just make this shape. The right leg is forward, the left leg's bent in. I think this was still right on this side. Left hand behind you at the base of your spine or a little bit back. You're gonna press up into sail, so it looks like this. And the right foot can go flat if you can. So it's a back bend. Most of the time we do bridge, wheel pose, bridge, wheel pose. It's a different way to go into a back bend. Exhale your breath, start to come out nice and slow. And then just slide your left knee forward, bend your right leg on top. This is the other side for you. 2 butt cheeks down. Give your right leg a squeeze with your left arm, then look over your right shoulder and twist. The closer your right hand is to the flat part of your back, the more upright you'll be, which is what we want. Good, come through center, counter stretch. It does nothing for you, it just feels good. Yeah, and then come to neutral. And then if you do have a block, that's great. If you don't, this is done without. The block's gonna go the long direction and you're gonna start tight to you. There's gonna be 2 parts to this. You can wrap your arms, Erica, under too. Yeah, start tight and then round. So if you don't have a block, you just feet are directly on the ground. It's fine. Round into yourself, let your thighs drop open. You got it. And then pull your torso up and move it like way out. So it's gonna be more like a 5-pointed star. And you could take it again like that, kind of wrapping under, or you could just fold. Either way works. And then fold deeper. So just 2 positions to open up the outer and the inner hips. Pull your torso up. Slide the feet down off the block. Just move it to the side. Bend the legs in half. Lower yourself down. Lay flat on your backs right here. 1 back bend on your back to kind of finish off the party. So full wheel if you feel like you're just ready to go for it. Supported bridge or bridge pose. Either one, we're gonna hold for about 5-6 breaths. You can clasp your hands underneath your back. Yeah, you don't have to go up into the full Monty here. You can just take a supported version. What's important is that your feet are forward and your thighs are turning under you. Go for it now, or think about it and do it another time. There you go. The lift, any way that you do that is fine. Walk your feet a little closer to you. It's from the tailbone to the backs of your knees. Nice work. Exhale your breath. When you are ready, you start to exit out with controlled in a controlled manner. If you want to stay a little longer, you stay a little longer. When you come down, squeeze your knees to your chest, give them a giant squeeze in, like wrap your arms around the front of your shins, bring your forehead into your knees like a tight ball. And on your exhale breath, you're gonna hover everything from the ground, a position that works for you. So hovering close to the floor is gonna be the most intense. Your legs can be up at a 90-degree angle. Your arms can be back. This is gonna be the most intense. You're holding for 5. Look up towards the sky for 4. Lift the shoulder blades for 3. For 2. and 1. Relax and let go. So at this point in the practice, you let your feet go wide, you make yourself comfortable. I know it's hard for a lot of us. The complete rest, Shavasana, is how the body is going to restore itself. More importantly, the mind. The next 2 minutes, just be quiet, be still, even if you're just looking at the sky.
All the birds that are singing are flown, except you alone.